This is PJNET.TV, and this is my perspective and comments. In this video segment of My Perspective and Comments, we cover politics, society here and abroad, and the events of the day that are shaping our nation. PJNET.TV, My Perspective and Comment, coming to you with a worldview, one nation under God. Hello and welcome to My Perspective and Comments. And over the last 3 weeks now, we have been hearing reports from the CDC regarding cases going up and what they're recommending right now as we approach Labor Day, and a lot of things that are surrounding what we're witnessing right now, and a lot of questions are out there. But unless you're asking the questions that the media platforms like YouTube, the Google franchise, so to speak, Google being the parent company, YouTube being part of that company, and as I've said before, the You-Censor tube only wants questions that fit their narrative, and questions like, why is the cases going up right now? And a question, we're seeing children now, younger children getting this COVID, and there seems to be things that are changing that weren't happening 8 months ago, even less than that. So some things that are popping up here now that are disturbing, and you wonder what we're going to see and hear from the so-called accepted professionals on what is taking place. But again, folks, I will definitely try to go to the free speech platform, video platform on Rumble, and give you some updates on what's been happening and what professionals are talking about regarding COVID-19 and these vaccines, and what we're witnessing right now with the rise in infection. But again, right now we're on You-Censor tube right now, so we'll continue on with my perspective comments here on PJNET.TV. Right now, we're going to stick with COVID here. The head of the CDC, Rochelle Walensky, has issued a warning. If you're unvaccinated and it's Labor Day, stay home. She doesn't want you out no, stay home. Avoid. Hide away at this point. And if you are vaccinated, bring the masks back. Carry your masks. And you look at this and say, 18 months into this, and where are we? And again, if you ask the appropriate questions, what are we doing here 18 months later? You-Censor tube's not going to be of help. And we will give you some updates, as I said, on the Rumble video platform where free speech is there. But again, warnings from CDC regarding Labor Day, this coming Labor Day, with vaccinated and unvaccinated, and what needs to be done. I'd like to move to the state of Texas, and this week has been a great week for the state of Texas, and we're going to start out now with the state legislature this past Tuesday passed finally a election integrity bill. And as you recall, we had the escapees from Texas, Democrats, running to D.C. to hide away so that they didn't have to vote. Well, what did they do when they ran to D.C.? They brought something with them. COVID. And many on the plane, if you saw the pictures that were taken from those Democrats, Texas Democrats that were on the plane, nobody's wearing masks, but they sure had a present when they got to D.C. for people surrounding them there. But finally they came back. I don't know if any of them is going to see any jail time. They should, because there was. I'm not sure if it was a warrant for their arrest, but they certainly were under pressure that they might go to jail because of that stunt that they pulled. But anyway, they came back. The vote was taken, and this week we have election integrity law in place. So the Republican governor, Greg Abbott, has promised to sign that legislation. So we have another state putting more security around election integrity so that we don't see this same type of shenanigans and stealing of votes and issues like that that seem to be pretty evident when these audits we're witnessing these audits and the review and the discrepancies of what they're finding in these various states regarding the audits that they're in the middle of right now, and that we've been getting some reports, from states like Arizona, Pennsylvania, Texas, obviously. So, and there's going to still be more. There's still more digging that's being done in other states regarding that, and laws that are being put on the books so that we don't have this type of shenanigans where you don't know who's voting and you don't know how many times they're voting, and the chain of custody to know when it arrives and when it's in these voter boxes, how secure are those? So a lot of area for fraud to take place, and these election laws, like Texas just enacted, will help stop the potential fraud in those cases. We also have Texas making more news. This past week again, the state of Texas Senate passed a bill Tuesday that's aimed to curb the perceived political censorship from these big tech companies and that what they've been doing and what we've been seeing happening over these last couple of 3 years. When it comes to, as I mentioned before with YouTube, the censorship. Well, the bill that was brought forth by Senator Brian Hughes would prohibit social media platforms from censoring users based on their viewpoints. This censoring included actions like removing content from their platforms, or I say platforms, but I think that they're more of a publisher or editor, which takes them out of the platform. But they consider themselves platforms. But in any case, removing content banning users, demonetizing users, and suppressing posts that is according to that bill. So now we see Texas putting a little bit more teeth in curbing the censorship that we've been witnessing, and how people are getting silenced from big tech when they're exercising their free speech. I'd like to talk a bit about Project Veritas brings and shines some light on a teacher in California, a pro-Antifa teacher in California. Well, this teacher from a public school, a pro-Antifa California public school teacher, was touting his efforts to radicalize his students through political indoctrination. And what he was doing in his classroom was, giving incentives, like giving special incentives and grades if his students would go and take pictures and help out if Antifa was at some location where they were handing out food or doing something publicly, that this teacher was giving, was telling his students, well, if you go, then you can get extra credit if you write some things about what Antifa is doing. And he was promoting that. And as you know, Project Veritas just doesn't talk it, but they get it right from the horse's mouth of what he was doing and some of the things that he was saying. And this teacher is Gabriel Guy P. Is an AP government teacher at the Indoctrination High School in Nakoma United School District in Sacramento, California. He describes himself as the most probably the most far left as you can go, he said, and what he wants to do, again, coming right from him, to indoctrinate them. And if it takes using fear, he'll do that. And they actually had a picture of his classroom, and he's got a Black Lives Matter flag in the background, and promoting and bragging about what he was doing. Well, folks, I guess over the last couple days they had a school board meeting, and the parents saw this video. They were outraged. They went to the school board meeting, and they really raised a rough ruckus. And it looks like this pro-Antifa teacher trying to radicalize his students is getting the heave-ho. So that's in the works right now. There was another teacher, California again, that was bragging and telling on TikTok about one of his kids. They were talking about the flag and acknowledging the flag, and there was none in her classroom. So she she said, well, how about this flag right here? We can pledge allegiance to that flag. And come to find out, folks, it was the rainbow flag. So she's leading them into a pledge allegiance to the rainbow flag. And if I'm not mistaken, another California teacher, and the bold enough to be on TikTok and put that out for everybody to see. And I believe she's not going to be employed by that school district. But the boldness, they think they can get away with it, and that's what we're seeing taking place in our school system. And yes, indoctrination, and most they feel that they can get away with that because the administration has pretty much said, wink, wink, nod, nod, it's your classroom. You teach what you want to teach. And as I've mentioned before here on PJNET.TV, that many of them have come out and signed letters and petitions that they're going to teach what they want to teach, regardless of whether the parents want them to or not. Like that critical race theory that they're gonna. So they don't care what the parents say. They're gonna teach what they want to teach. And if they want to indoctrinate your kids, guess what? What are you gonna do about it? That's why parents need to get to these school board meetings and let them know what the parents are gonna do about it. Because the parents are the ones that run these school systems, and it's about time that these administrators, superintendents, and teachers realize that it's the parents that are the bosses around here. And for far too long, parents have been quiet and have let the schools run rampant and teach whatever they wanted to teach. Even though and many of what they're teaching is anti-American. And now there's many a parent that's waking up and seeing their kids come in spouting all this stuff and saying, where did it all come from? Well, we're seeing it right now where the actions of these teachers, not just hearsay, but you're hearing it right from the horse's mouth as they brag about indoctrinating your kids. So more to come to that, and I just applaud the parents right now. Finally, stand up and don't let these school districts get away with it. Like to talk a bit about the mayor in Chicago. She and some of her so-called employees have a disagreement. The mayor, Lightfoot, has told those that have an office holder there in Chicago that the mandate's out. Either you get or you're not going to be working. Well, the Chicago Police Union has said, heck no, that's not going to happen, and they are totally coming against Lightfoot in this matter, and they are opposing her every step of the way in that mandate, force requirement that you have to get a jab, a vaccine to work there. So we'll see how that plays out. But here again, finally, people are stepping up and saying, no, we're not going to go down that route. Like to, as you know, over the last a couple of weeks, what's been in the news, Afghanistan. And we've seen the debacle that's taken place. We've seen Biden seemingly not knowing what's going on, confused, double talk, and everything's going fine. No problems here. And we saw some of the reaction of some of the interviews of people that lost their loved one, and the response from the president to them, and almost in some instances, the reports are that it was nonchalant. Definitely not indicative of a commander-in-chief to comfort those that have lost loved ones. And this, again, we're a couple of weeks into this right now, and the blowback around the world. Our allies are disgusted. And we saw pictures of France and Germany being leaders, getting their people out. And what do we have? Oh, yeah, leave them behind. We have Americans left behind. That's our administration. That's our president. But let's not just leave it there with President or acting President Biden. But let's look at who he's brought on board. And there was a report this week. Nearly 90 retired generals and admirals wrote a letter demanding that Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley resign from their roles immediately. Yes, they should with this failure, because what we have seen over the last year, over the last several months, is a lot of woke stuff. You know, a lot of teaching from what they want to embrace. The critical race and all this far left stuff. And what do we have here? We have enemies of ours taking over countries, taking over territory, and the generals got no clue. Oh yeah, well, they didn't see it coming. They didn't see the fall coming, because they were too busy focusing on teaching critical race theory and chasing the people in D.C. For January 6th. And that was the so-called terrorists. Yeah, so-called terrorists, when you had people like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, burning down cities, but you didn't see you didn't see the general running out to any of these states, cities, Seattle, Chicago, Portland. But oh no. They'll spend all their time and political resources trying to indict people there. Yeah. So that's what we have in our military right now. They've gone woke, but yet and still we can look to France to take care of their people, but the United States, they can fend for themselves. Americans left behind, they can fend for themselves. Jen Psaki. Oh yeah. If they really wanted to get out, we're making it available for them to leave if they really want to. Like they didn't want to leave. So the spin is unbelievable there, and we know a lie when we hear it. And that definitely doesn't ring true that we're leaving Americans behind because they're happy there. They don't want to leave. So that's what we've been seeing. Then that's why the outrage in America right now is building. Not just with Republicans, but Democrats are looking at this and saying we are a laughing stock, and everybody in the world knows that this president or acting president isn't up to the task. So. More to come here. A lot of talk about resigning, and that drumbeat may continue to build. What I like to do right now is to have a video clip and have let you listen to some people that are discussing what took place over this past week, and focusing on the Supreme Court. And when you talk about lives being lost and the killing of our unborn, Texas had a bill out banning abortion and really stopping it there in their state. And there was a pushback and a lawsuit to stop that ban. Well, the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision has upheld that the state of Texas can ban abortion. And what I like to do is this video clip will discuss and bring the specifics on on that ban. And folks, I would just like to add and interject, this is a beginning. This is a beginning step. More states can do this and take it further. And I believe that those that have been pushing this pro-murder, they're starting to look and say, wait a minute, more and more Americans, there's polls coming out now that are showing a majority of Americans don't want abortion, and this ruling, this 5-4 decision, is now moving us closer to say Roe v. Wade, your days of being the law of the land might be over, and pray for that, folks. Pray that there's a continued awakening, and people continually are aware that this pro-death movement needs to stop, and we need to save and continue to save more and more babies. And there's in the state of Texas right now, there would have been babies killed, and now that killing system will stop. So keep praying, though, for more states to enact legislation to be able to bring safety to our children unborn in other states. So here, take a look at this video talking about this landmark and historic decision that was made in the Supreme Court this week regarding Texas and upholding the ban that Texas has put in place on abortion. Here, take a look.